Learn how to use dynamic math functions and curve smoothing properties in Chart.js to render fluid wavy mathematical curves. In this lesson, we want to look at how we can plot functional curves with Chart.js. And we're going to be making use of JavaScript built-in trigonometry functions like the math sine or math cosine into our generator. And so at the end of the day, we're going to be getting a script that computes the rise and fall of a wave, because wave curves have smooth transition. So we can combine our data points with the Chart.js tension property to make the resulting graphic look incredibly smooth and natural. So let's move into our code and start writing the first line of code that we need in this example. So here I've added a canvas element here with an idea of my chart and style, and I also put in the CDN for the Chart.js global library. So that's been done. Let's move into the script tag and let's start adding values. So the first thing here is to add values on the x and y axis. We're going to make a variable, call it x values, and set it to an empty array. Then make for y values as well and set it also to an empty array. So once you've done this, then pass the data, call generate data. So this is a function call. Even though we have not made the function, we are still going to make the function very soon. And call this built-in trigonometry functions built into JavaScript, and then add some few other properties to it. So this is a starting position, a end position, and then the increment range. So once you have this, then you can then go ahead and target your what is it called, the ID that you have in your canvas element where you expect your chart to be rendered at the end of the day. So that's just what I did with that variable. And having done that, then call on the new chart constructor, which is now going to be responsible for making our chart. And inside it, you can call the type of chart that you want. So we want a line chart. Then you can pass in your data. And inside the data, we want to pass labels, and that label is going to be our x values, and also a data set, which is going to be an array and a bunch of what is it called, objects. So our label inside the data set is going to be y values, that is information that is going to be vertical on our chart, and you passed it in as data. Sorry, label is not y values on the vertical axis. Then our label is what we want to display. So let's just say y is equal to sine x. So the purpose of this trigonometry built-in function is what we want to display. So let's add a border color to our line, and to pass the border color, let's use RGBA to set it, and set it as the darkest, highest, and opacity of 1.5. So once you have all of this set up, just go ahead and add your point radius as well. So I want to add a point radius and give it a value of 1, as well as a tension of 0.4. So that's just what I want to put inside of this. So now that I have this, well, let me just go ahead and then pass in options. And inside these options, I want to add a plugin. And inside the plugin, I want to add a legend, which I will set the display to be false, because I don't want a legend to show up. And I also want to pass in a title. And for this title, let me set the display to true. And let me also set text. that I want to display to show y equals to sine x. So the trigonometry function that we are working about is actually what I want to show, and that is what I'm trying to set this to. And finally, I can set font if I want, and just pass in the size of 16. So once I have this sorted out, then there's one other thing I want to add. It is scale. So this works for when you are working with Chat.js. So this can actually also contain some other necessary information that you want on your chart, such as your display. I want to set the display of what to show on the X and Y axis here because of the fact that I have set the legend to be false. That is, I don't want the default legend that comes with Chat.js. I want this to be a custom legend that I'm setting in by myself. So I can add my own title and set the display as well to be true for this one as well. In the y-axis, I want it to show, and I want to add a text, and let it be just this string sin x. So now that I have all of this together, then I can come down outside of that and add the function. So I've already made a call to this function here. So I want to now make this function itself generate data. So I will make a function and call it generate data, and I want to pass some parameters inside it, such as the value, the I1, the start I1 start value, end value as well, and the step. Because if you look inside the function code, you can see there's a value math.sin x. You can see I1, this is the starting step, like I said. This is the endpoint 10. This is starting point 0, endpoint 0, and then the step increment at 0.5. So that is exactly what we pass into the parameter aspect of our data. And so I can then go ahead and look inside this particular function that I just made. So let x equals to I1, then x less or equals to I2, and then x plus equal step. And so from inside, we can pass in our y values. To add anything that is received from x to what we already have by calling on the eval function, evaluates our value. So that means it will run the function instantly, and also we can add x values. And this is also going to push whatever is received from x. And now there's something else. So let's inspect why this is actually not showing. Chart. Oh, sorry, it's chart, not I made a mistake here. CHRT is chart. So we're so close. I've actually inspected my code and I discovered that it was because of a typo error while I was building the script, and that typo error is coming from this part. It's actually type. So there's a typographic error here. So it's type. And once you fix that, then you should see the smooth functional curves come up in your web page. So this is how you can plot functional curves with Chat.js and JavaScript.